On January 14th, 2025, Rigetti's management team gave investors an important update that let them know how close they are compared to companies like Google and their announcement with Willow. So I thought that was really interesting, and I thought that was something that investors could use more analysis regarding. So that's why I made this video regarding those developments with Rigetti. Let's get into it.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So Rigetti's management team said that if anything, Google's Willow and their Anka 3 is ahead of companies like IonQ's Fidelity right now. Of course, IonQ is one of the leading quantum computing stocks right now, certainly one of the highest market cap and one with the highest trailing 12-month revenue. IonQ is at 99.4% fidelity, and Rigetti says they're at 99.5% fidelity. Google is at 99.7% fidelity. So Google in the lead there, and investors may have already expected that with their announcement with Willow late in 2024. But Rigetti not far behind at 99.5% and ahead of one of the leaders, IonQ, in the quantum computing industry. So the management team saying that superconducting has the most likely chances to win. And that's why Rigetti is following this strategy with superconducting in the quantum computing space. There are several different strategies or modalities that quantum computing companies can undertake. And one of those modalities is superconducting. That's the one that Rigetti is choosing. And Rigetti is saying, why are we choosing that? Because it's the most likely to win. And they're referencing companies like Amazon and the government of China, which are also investing in superconducting. And Rigetti is saying, why would these large entities invest in superconducting if they didn't think this was a winning modality? Because these entities like Amazon and the government of China, they have virtually unlimited resources. A company like Amazon has hundreds of billions of dollars at their disposal. And so they have virtually unlimited capital. They can choose whatever strategy they want to choose. They're not restricted by these types of constraints. And similarly with the government of China, they don't have very many constraints. This is a large entity with hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars at their disposal. And so they can choose any modality. They're choosing the superconducting modality, and Rigetti is highlighting that this is the one that's most likely to win. And the reason why Rigetti is emphasizing this point with investors is because they want to attract investor capital. They want investors to put their money into Rigetti rather than putting their money into IonQ or quantum computing or any of the other Riverlane or any of the other quantum computing companies or any of the other quantum computing strategies that might be out there. And investor capital is going to be a big determinant of success for a company like Rigetti. It's going to take a long time for them to get to a point, if they ever get to a point, where this technology has commercial application and they can generate sales. Between now and then, they need investors to give them money so that they can conduct the research and development so that they can get to that point, right? Rigetti has a lot of smart individuals working at the company. These individuals can command large salaries wherever they go. And so for Rigetti to keep these individuals on their team, they've got to compensate them. And that compensation, that capital, that money has to come from investors because Rigetti is not generating very much revenue. In fact, if I share with you Rigetti's trailing 12-month revenue, it totaled just $11.89 million. And that number is actually down from a year ago where they generated over $15 million. Their revenue is going to be choppy. It's going to be one-off if they sign a contract here, sign a contract there. They haven't yet reached the point where this technology is going into enterprise. Right now, this technology is mostly in research and development labs and not yet generating the kind of sales from enterprise that Rigetti would hope in the longer term. In fact, the company said as much. They say that we still view sales as a bit further out than where we are. And that's why we've talked about it before. And I keep saying we are very much in tech development mode right now, and sales don't matter at this point. What's far more important is the technology milestones, the fidelity milestones, the qubit count, the gate speed. Those are far more important. And I agree with the management team's statement in that regard. Right now, those milestones are much more important than signing a contract here or there for $5 million or $10 million or 20 or 100 million even. What's more important is hitting these milestones. Every time they hit one of these milestones, they get one step closer. But more importantly, every time they hit one of these milestones, they can go back to investors and say, look at our progress. Can you give us more money so that we can hit the next milestone? But if they're not hitting milestones, investors, when they go back to investors and ask for more money, investors will say, well, what have you done with the money that we've already given you? What accomplishments have you delivered? And if they have nothing to show for it, investors are not going to want to give them money. They're going to think that they're just paying a bunch of PhDs to sit around and read research papers rather than actually delivering any tangible progress. And so that's why, correctly, the managers here saying that sales not important yet. We need to deliver on these milestones. We need to make progress. We need to demonstrate progress in these developments so that investors will give us more money so that we can hit the next milestone and the next one and the next one after that, because we've got roughly 3, 5, 7, maybe 10, maybe 15 years of this ahead of us before we can get to some major commercial application of this technology into enterprise. They go on to say, as of today, which this report was on January 14th, 2025, I don't believe any corporation has bought a quantum computer yet. It's been mostly government labs, which is interesting, right? No corporation has bought a quantum computer yet. It's just government labs. So a lot of testing is going on there. A lot of research is going on there, which may or may not result in commercial application. If it does, and there is development there, then a business will buy this if they feel like it's going to help them increase sales, reduce costs, or have some other kind of tangible benefit for the corporation. Until then, it's mostly going into research labs, government labs, funding coming from the government, from universities, from scientists trying to make discoveries. And then, hopefully, for companies like Rigetti, it goes into the mainstream, it goes into industry, and that's when sales will explode, and that's when this business can deliver profits for shareholders. Until then, sales are not that important for Rigetti Computing. Hey everyone, so many of you have been asking about my investing strategy, and I'm excited to announce that I've written a book that's available for sale now that describes my 6-step investing framework for evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.